Good morning. Good morning. How's it going? I just realized this morning that it is May the 4th. And for all of you Star Wars fans out there, May the 4th be with you. I come from a very serious family of Star Wars fans. So this is an important day. Well, not that important. I'm the one that realized it was May the 4th. But yes, May the 4th be with you. This is May the 4th. Can't believe it that we're into May. My daughter just told me today that she has 5 weeks left of school. So summer is coming. I had a pretty amazing weekend. I went up to Northern California again to help my family with my grandmother's house. For those of you who've been on this journey with me, going up there many weekends to help get my grandmother's house ready to put on the market. So, oh man, my back will never be the same. We worked really hard, but I will say that my cousins worked even harder than I did. A few of them breaking up a cement driveway and oh my gosh, just really hard work. So I come from a family, the Schlecht family. That was my stepdad who basically raised me and my sisters, and they are just a family that works really hard. Everyone was working so hard. We were so tired, but yeah, so it was really great to see all of them. And Brenda, my twin sister, came out from Wyoming, so I picked her up at the airport in Sacramento, and then we drove the rest of the way up to the little town of Oroville, and that's where my grandmother and grandfather lived, and my aunt and uncle still live there. So yeah, it was good. My grandma would have been 94 on Sunday, and we, you know, what better thing to do than be all together, getting all of her things taken care of. So yeah, it's looking amazing, and we kind of felt a little guilty, like, man, we put in this like beautiful sod grass lawn, and this whole side yard that was like weeds forever, like as long as I can remember. This beautiful, just like charcoal rock. And it was like, oh, I wonder if like we could have done this for grandma when she was alive, you know? But it was really great to be with lots of cousins working hard, and my aunt and uncle and my two other uncles too. So yeah, you know, the craziest thing is that I dropped Brenda off the airport and then sent her a text like a couple hours later saying where I was and hoping that her trip was going good. And she was like, Wendy, we didn't even get a picture. We're together all weekend and we didn't even get a picture together. Now, I do have a couple pictures of sod and people working with a shovel, but we don't have any of us together. So what a shame, right? I guess, you know, sometimes you get lost in what you're doing and you forget about the times when you know, want to remember. But, you know, what do you do? Well, the one thing about this weekend that's hard for me is it's wonderful and hard. But my Uncle Mike, he just looks and acts just like my dad. And every time I'm around him, I just get this little like, it's just hard, you know, like the things he says, the mannerisms, the way he walks. He was on the ground trying to get these sprinklers like the right height, and I could have sworn it was my dad from the back. Like their bodies are the same. The way that, oh my gosh, the way that he works is the same. It's just like, oh my goodness. Oh, anyway, but yeah, so always a little bit hard. And I don't know, if you've been following along with me for a few years now, you know that May is kind of a hard month for me. And it always has been. Well, for the last 15 years. So this May will mark 15 years that my dad passed away. And, you know, don't know if you're like me, but sometimes those anniversaries bring everything back. And some things you want to bring back and other things are just really hard to relive. And yeah. I'm going to read this chapter and then we'll talk a little bit more because the chapter pretty much explains some of it. So for those of you who are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. All right. So we're talking about season 6, episode 19. May we make them proud. And this is the episode. Oh, this is like probably one of the saddest, most traumatic episodes in all of Little House. And this is when the fire happens at the blind school. And if you remember, Albert and Andy are getting in a little bit of trouble in the basement of the blind school. And a fire starts, which they don't know about until the middle of the night when the blind school burns down. And Mary and Adam's baby ends up dying in the fire along with Alice Garvey. And this is just, I mean, the scene is, wow. I can barely watch it. It's just so intense. And we're not talking really about that in this chapter, but we're talking about afterwards. This is, I think, the part 2 of this episode, because it's a 2-parter, I believe. Or maybe it's just that happens and then this is the next one. But what happens is Albert just takes all of the blame and he can't live with himself. Can't live with himself. I've been there feeling like that, and I wonder if any of you have been in a situation where you feel that guilt and you just want to run away. And you don't quite know how to deal with it. And for me, this happens every May. It comes back. And this is getting better, but I'll tell you that for many years, every May, I'd want to run away again. So let's read it and then we'll talk a little more. It's chapter 33 and it's called Falling Prey to False Guilt. And this is the quote from Jonathan Garvey. You're blaming yourself for what happened, just like me blaming God for what happened. And we're both wrong. Pointing fingers is a natural reaction to tragedy. Whose fault was this? When someone dies unexpectedly, survivors look for someone to blame. Many of us accuse God, but perhaps the most difficult blame to resolve is the indictment we put on ourselves. When Alice Garvey and baby Kendall die in a fire, Albert blames himself. After an intense confession to Mary, Albert runs away. He can't cope with the guilt or forgive himself for the mistake he made. When my stepdad died of a heart attack, I blamed myself. I was with him that day and called 911 for advice. The operator wanted to send an ambulance, but my stepdad waved it off. His heart stopped beating less than an hour later. For years, I held myself responsible for his death. I could have made a different decision that resulted in a very different outcome, or at least I believed that. The time I spent blaming myself stripped me of the joy and freedom I had in Christ. Albert and I walked around condemned by no one but ourselves. How do we free ourselves from the guilt of a false step? Running away only makes the burden heavier to carry, and hiding is a lonely, lonely game. Our Heavenly Father never intended us to bear the weight of guilt alone. That's why Jesus came, to save us from our faults, yes, but also from the shame we experience because of them. Blaming ourselves for someone's death is taking the authority from God. When we wrongly assume the blame, we are falling prey to false guilt. God alone is the creator of life. Holding our existence is his business, not Albert's or mine. Our hands could never be big enough to do the job justice. He frees us of the blame we're hauling around, fulfilling his purpose along the way. And the verse is from Ephesians 1, 7 and 8. And this says, because of the sacrifice of the Messiah, his blood poured out on the altar of the cross, we're a free people, free of penalties and punishments chalked up by all our misdeeds. And not just barely free either, abundantly free. So, yeah, that is kind of the story. And, I would say for probably about, oh goodness, let's see, 10, 12 years, I, every May or maybe even the end of April, this dark cloud was come over me, and I would be like, what is wrong with me? I don't understand what's going on. And then I would slowly realize that May 8th was coming. And, I'd never been a down or depressed kind of person. And I realized that sometimes Satan comes at us through really strange ways. And it was like he was torturing me and not letting me forget what happened, even though in my head, I know that I don't have that much power. I can't decide how long someone's going to live or die. I don't. But I think sometimes we let that little tiny sliver of doubt, that little tiny feeling that maybe we could have done something to change eternity, change this moment. We think that we maybe have this tiny bit of control. I believed that for a long time. And sometimes it's getting better and better and better. But even last year, I felt like I did really well, but I still was off. I still was really, really what's going on in me, So I don't know what your life is like, but I carry stress in a couple different ways. It has to do with health and not feeling well. I don't do particularly great with that. That probably has a lot to do with PTSD of my brain surgery. The other thing is anniversaries and things like that, times and seasons. Satan totally knows how to get me. And I will say that this weekend, being at my grandma's, was really, really good. Sometimes when you face something head on, you're not trying to run away or carry it yourself. Somehow, when things are in the light, Satan has to run away. We don't have to run away. He has to run away. So I'm doing good. Now, it's not May 8th yet, and May 8th is always kind of a hard day for me. But, yeah, I wonder, are any of you carrying around this false guilt? Taking, the blame for something that really is not yours to carry. It's not yours to carry. It's too heavy. It's way too heavy. It's way too heavy. I just started thinking the last couple of years, instead of thinking about May 8th being the day that my dad was gone and I didn't do what I wished I would have done and blah, 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 blah. Instead, thinking, wow, my dad has been in heaven for 15 years. Lucky him. Like, how blessed is he? How happy is he? If he could say something to me right now, he'd say, Wendy, you don't even know how good this is. I'm so glad to be here. I was thinking about him and COVID and how well he would have done. He's probably very happy to not be here. And look, I was not going to get emotional, and now I am. Yeah, so I wonder if any of you are carrying around something that's too heavy. Just let it go. Drop it. Just drop it if you can. Yeah. I'm at a loss now. I hope you have a really great day. I hope also that that not only may the force be with you, but more importantly, may God be with you today. And whatever you're going through, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're carrying that's just too heavy, I just pray that God would be with you and that you would trust Him enough to just hand it over. Let Him carry it, because He's the only one that is capable of carrying some of these things that we go through. So anyway, love you all. I see all these people telling me these things. Thank you so much. I'm going to go through and read every single one. But I am going to say goodbye because I don't have anything else to say and I don't really want to keep crying. So, love you all, and hope you have a really great day. And it's Mother's Day. So, Mother's Day is coming. If for all of you who can shower your moms with love on Sunday, do that. For those of you who have lost your mothers, I'm so sorry. It's gotta be a hard day. So now I'm gonna cry again. Yeah, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. And I have a special Mother's Day devotional going out, but you have to be on my email list to get it. So if any of you are not on my email list, you need to go to my website, sign up. Sign up, and you will get the Mother's Day devotional. I'm planning on sending it on Friday or Saturday. Yeah, unless I send it on Sunday morning. I don't know. What do you guys think I should do? When should I send it? I'm trying to think. Sometime this weekend, Mother's Day devotional for all of you. And yeah, so go and sign up on my website and you'll get the Mother's Day devotional. It actually is a devotional that I wrote when I was thinking of doing a prairie devotional for mothers, and that didn't really pan out. So I have a few of those lying around that I think I'll probably do every Mother's Day. So for a couple of years. So anyway, it's kind of the same exact structure as the book, with a quote from the show about being a mom. So anyway, I was supposed to be a surprise. Anyway, yes, happy Mother's Day to all of you, and love you all so much. And let's talk soon. Okay, bye.